Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and this is the fifth lecture of the NABARD Grade A 2021 ARD Static Series, and the topic for today is important MCQs on Agrometeorology. To our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss any video, and you can also join to our Telegram channel where you can find all the free study material related to your examination. This is our EduTap Hall of Fame, and we are very proud to inform that out of 69 people who were in the final merit list of NABARD Grade A 2020, 65 were EduTapians. So do study with us, and the next could be you. See, the NABARD, they have changed the pattern this time, and in our course, this our new course is designed according to the new pattern that has been assigned by NABARD committee. So you can avail, we are offering 40% discount, and you can avail this particular offer by using the code NABARD40. So do not miss this opportunity and do your best. Okay, so let's start with this chapter, and the first question says identify the agroclimatic zones based on the following information. So see, first of all, what is agrometeorology? Okay, so if we break the term, meteorology basically means the study of climate or weather, right? And when I say agrometeorology, so basically when you study weather and then you imply or apply whatever you have studied in agriculture sector, that is known as what? That is known as agrometeorology. Okay, so basically because we know the climate or the climate is changing, right, and the weather, it keeps on changing. So for a suitable environment, what kind of crops can be grown or at what time can be grown, right? Because timing is also essential. So all these things, all these come under agrometeorology, and in this particular question you are given four information of a particular agroclimatic zone, and then you have to answer which of the following is the correct answer. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option number 3, that is the middle Gangetic Plain. Okay, so first of all, what is this agroclimatic zone? All right, so this particular classification, it was given by the Planning Commission of India. Okay, that is our Planning Commission. So what happened? In India we have different departments, right? We have ICAR, we have Planning Commission. So what happened initially, now India, it has a diversified climate. You can find desert here, and you can observe floods during monsoon. So it is a very diversified climate. So to apply whatever we have studied in meteorology, we have to classify India into different section, different zones. Okay, so this particular classification, in which there are 15 agroclimatic zone, these you can see here 15, this was given by the Planning Commission of India. ICR, it has given its own classification. In this 15, then we have sub classification also, and ICR, it has given its classification in which it has characterized into 127 zones. So currently we are looking at Planning Commission of India and what division it has made, right? And as our question said, it was about middle Gangetic Plain, and here you can look at the fourth zone, that is our middle Gangetic Plain. And this region includes what? This region includes eastern part of UP and Bihar plains, as you can see in the picture also, in the map also. Okay, so what are the characteristic of this particular area? It is fertile alluvial plain. Fertile alluvial, why? Because of the various river system, of that of Ganga being the dominant one, right? So this particular area is fertile, and of course Ganga and its tributary, they play a major role. Apart from that, the climate is subhumid to dry humid. So what is a humid climate? Humid is basically, if I have to say in a normal language, I would say when the climate is hot, along with that there is a lot of moisture present in atmosphere, right? In Hindi you must have heard umas ya chipchipi garmi, right? So this is the type of climate what humid is. And what is subhumid and dry humid? Then you can assume from it, right? In some subhumid, the moisture content would not be much, and in dry humid, the moisture content in atmosphere would be less in comparison to what it should have been in humid climate, but still more than what you observe in normal dry condition. Okay, so that is what, so in this particular region and this particular type of climate, it is usually observed near the water body. So if you're living near ocean or a sea, then the humidity would be more. Okay, but if you're living somewhere near a particular river, you can say, then the humidity would be comparatively less. Okay, apart from that, annual rainfall of this particular region is 1211 to 1470 millimeter. 40% of total cropped area is irrigated, rest of it is dependent on rain-fed agriculture. Rain-fed we have already covered in our previous lecture. And what are the major crop of this region? Sugarcane, paddy, maize, wheat. See, like this, there are the characteristic of rest of the 14 agroclimatic zones also. Okay, but you now have an idea that what type of course is present in this particular chapter, right? Or what thing that you need to focus on, right? So the question number 2 says the length of growing period for semi-arid ecosystem is, right? So what is, okay, before explaining arid, now I'll tell you what this ecosystem and how this classification it came from. See, as I said in previous question, there are many departments and they all have made their own classifications, but still the government was not satisfied, because again the India is so vast and it is so diversified in respect to everything, in fact in climate also, that a new classification was done depending on the what type of ecosystem that is present in that place, and one of them is semi-arid. So what is arid condition? If we go for just one word, that is arid. Arid means dry condition. Okay, so where there's not water for survival of even plants and animals also. So that is a arid condition. So what could be semi-arid? So basically a condition where there is water scarcity. There is water, but that is not enough. So that comes under semi-arid condition. Next word that you, next phrase that here is important is length of growing period. So we are talking about length of growing period of what? Of course of plants, because we are studying agriculture. So the length of growing period for semi-arid ecosystem is, what does this mean in the case of semi-arid condition or ecosystem? What type of plants we grow, or what length of growing period should be, so that we can get adequate yield from that particular crop. Okay, so the correct answer of this is 90 to 150 days. And of course this is not like that we are completely dependent on rain-fed agriculture. We can provide irrigation if we have that facility around that particular area. Okay, so this is LGP. LGP is nothing but the length of growing period, and length of growing period of what? Of plants, right? So in arid ecosystem, arid, now you know where there is scarce, where there is not water available for plants. So in that, usually length of growing period is what? Less than 90 days. Why? Because there is already scarcity of water, and now we cannot pressurize that land, or we cannot pressurize that plant somehow to have the maximum yield. So we grow such type of plants, or such kind of plants exist naturally in that area, whose of whom length growing period is what? Less than 90 days. In our question we had semi-arid, which is 90 to 150. Then we have different conditions. Coastal ecosystem is basically coast is a area which is that is a lower portion of India, right? That is coast, where it is surrounded by sea or larger water bodies. Okay, so that is a coastal ecosystem. And island is area which is surrounded by water from the four side. Okay, so there are different length of growing period of plants and major areas where this particular type of ecosystem exists. Do not get confused that in previous question we have done there are 15 classification, and now this is the new classification. First of all, that were the agroclimatic zones, and this is the ecosystem. Okay, first of all, are different terms, as well as these are different classification. Okay, so do not get confused. Now come to question number 3, which says which layer of atmosphere contains electrically charged particles called ions. So our atmosphere, it is divided into 5 layers. Okay, so every layer, it has its own significance, and it performs a particular task. So you have to guess that which of the following layer or options does of atmosphere contains electrically charged particles called ions, where ions are present. And the correct answer to this is what? The thermosphere. What are ions? Basically, if somebody is not from science background, or someone forgot what it was, uh, there is a normal atom that is in a normal state. You must know that atoms, they have electrons. This everybody, I guess, knows. Okay, so what happens when there is excess of electron in that, usually, there is a see if only 8 electrons can exist in that particular atom, but if somehow one atom it goes from that particular, sorry, one electron it goes from that particular atom, now how many remain? 7. Or if somehow one more comes, okay, I know if you go for directly scientific way, I know 8 electrons cannot come or go somewhere, that is different thing, but I'm just saying for the normal layman language, so that you just have an idea. Okay, so now if how many electrons should be there? 8. But if somehow one goes and now 7 are remaining, or one comes and 9, now there are 9, so this is called charged condition, and now these atoms are known as what? These are known as ions. Okay, so I hope now you know what is ion. Talking about the earth atmosphere, the different layers, the first one is known as troposphere. This is the layer where we exist. Okay, so the area surrounding around you, you say it is atmosphere, right? But if you go for now, so you can say no, this is not only atmosphere, but this is the troposphere layer of the atmosphere. So all the clouds, everything that exists in this particular region. Next comes the stratosphere. So stratosphere is the layer above troposphere, and there is two important thing or activity that occurs there. First of all the planes or jets, they travel in stratosphere, or they fly in stratosphere. And if you ever have been to planes, or you must have seen in movies or photos, you always observe that clouds, they are below the plane, right? That is because the clouds, they exist in what? They exist in troposphere, while the planes, they fly in stratosphere. Okay, sometimes you are at the level of the clouds, so it is not hard and fast that no, only stratosphere planes can fly. It is somewhere in between stratosphere and sometimes in troposphere, depending on where to go and what speed and whatever technical things that happens. But usually the jets and the planes, they fly in stratosphere. Another important activity that or the thing that is here, which is very important, is the presence of ozone layer. And ozone layer protect us from what? From the UV rays from the sun. Okay, so that is the importance of stratosphere. Then we have mesosphere. Above stratosphere is the mesosphere, and here all the meteorites, or what are meteorites in layman language, you can say the rocks that come from the outer space, everything that burns up here. So this is a function of mesosphere. Next, we are looking at what are the importance. Okay, why is it important? Because the burning of meteorite is important for us, otherwise the earth, it would blast. Okay, next come thermosphere. Next layer is thermosphere. In this, ions are present that we talked about. And what is this? You must have heard of aurora borealis or the northern lights, and if you haven't, do check it. It is a mesmerizing phenomena that occurs in the world, and this occurs there. Why? Because of the presence of ions. Secondly, satellites are also present in thermosphere only. So it is also this satellite, if you go, this is somewhere in the range of thermosphere and exosphere. Okay, so usually it is in thermosphere, but some accordingly, whatever the needs, some of can go up to the extent of exosphere also. So but usually it is present in thermosphere, and satellite is important for communication, whatever happens, right? And the last layer is exosphere. It is the outermost layer of the atmosphere. So now you know that there are 5 layers, and I hope you know a function of every of the above. Okay, now come to question number 4, and it says, which of the following is a high level cloud? See, cloud, they are present at different heights, and here you have to guess that which of the following is a high level cloud. Right, so the correct answer to this question is option number 5, that is cirrostratus. Okay, so see, if we go for basic 3 classification of clouds, okay, clouds are of different times, and yes, there are names given to clouds also. Okay, so if you go for different clouds that exist, the basic type, first we'll go for the basic type. So there are 3 types that you can see on the right hand side. Okay, so this particular type is known as what? This particular type is known as cirrus. This is known as stratus, and the last one, it is known as cumulus. Yeah, right. So what happens? See, so what is a cirrus type of cloud? In cirrus, it is kind of feather-like clouds that you must have observed in the atmosphere. Okay, so that is what a cirrus type of cloud is. Stratus, you can, as you can see in the picture also, and you must have observed also, these are the horizontal, in a horizontal line, there are many clouds that are present. It is known as stratus, and cumulus is more like of a cotton candy that you must have observed, right? So these are the three basic type, and then there are different combination of these clouds also, and which of name you can see at the left hand side also. So these clouds, they are present at different height, and here you can see the low level, middle level, high level clouds also, and then the different combination, in which different combinations that are present. So yeah, so in our question, what was the, it was cirrostratus. So this one is the cirrostratus. So basically this cirrostratus is the mixture of cirrus and stratus, of these two. Okay, so this is present where this is our high level cloud. Other examples of high level are cirrus, cirrocumulus. Okay, and this cirronimbus, its height can go from low, it is its base is present in low level, but it is present pretty much high above. Okay, now comes question number 5, which says which of the following is a rain bearing cloud. So for now you have seen, see, in this thing we have covered everything about clouds in the previous question and in this question. So basically there are three type of clouds, then there are different combination. Now you have to look at that which of the following is a rain bearing cloud. So the cloud which bears rain is option number 4, that is nimbus. Okay, so if we go for the word nimbus, in it itself in Latin means rainstorm or water bearing or rain bearing. So whatever bring rains, it means nimbus in Latin language, and hence the name given to the cloud. Okay, which means rain bearing. These clouds are rain bearing. These are dark in color. Of course, you have seen the water which brings rain. They are dark in color, right? And they carry substantial amount of water droplets. Okay. So here are two examples. This one is nimbostratus. This is nimbostratus cloud. So as said in previous question also, these clouds, they are present in combination. See, nimbo means water bearing, but it is not as in there is a particular structure of this cloud. Okay, so that is why it is when I say nimbostratus, so basically it is stratus, but this particular cloud now it carries rain. And this example is of cumulonimbus. Okay, so you have seen nimbus, cumulus cloud, they are like cotton candy, and when they carry rain, it is known as what? These are known as cumulonimbus. So all the thing which has name nimbus associated with it, those type of clouds, they bring what? They bring rain. Okay, so I'll show you this previous slide also. In this, see, look at this nimbostratus and cumulonimbus, both are rain bearing. So whatever nimbo, if this nimbus either suffix or prefix depending on the type of cloud, but if you see the word this nimbus, it means okay, it is this particular cloud, it is associated with rain. Okay, so I hope this particular concept as well as question is clear. Next comes, according to Köppen's scheme, group D refers to. So when this everything about, okay, we have to now look at what type of climate exists and what type of crops can be grown, and that and everything, when we were taking into consideration, at that time one scientist Köppen, he made a scheme, or he made a particular categorization in which he took into consideration different aspects. I can say what were the for example, the critical point of temperature when the for example, like in summer season, what was the critical temperature at that time, or in winter season, what was the critical temperature at that time, what was the critical rainfall at the rainy season. He took consideration these different aspects, and then he made a categorization. And you have to guess what that group D refers to, what of the following. So the correct answer to this is D, that is cold snow forest climate. Okay, so this is particular groups that were made by Köppens, and the first group is tropical. And then what is the characteristic that he said, the group this tropical area would be the place where average temperature of the coldest month is 18 degree or higher. So basically he had made different categorization, that is group A, group B, group D, and all that, C, D, E, H. And whenever some scientist, he does any task, and if he referring to Köppen scheme, he won't write tropical climate, dry climate. He would write group A, group B, group C for the ease. Okay, and that is why these groups name are given to it. Next, question number 7, it says a situation where the seasonal rainfall received over the area is less than 75% of its long term average value is known as what? So basically, in an area, if there is an average rainfall that occurs every year, but if this time it was 75% of what it usually rains, then that type of drought is known as what? Okay, and the correct answer to this is a meteorological drought. We'll look at all the four type of droughts that are present here. We'll cover in the explanation, so do not worry. First of all, that we looked at was the meteorological drought. In this, what happens? Basically, if in a particular area every year a certain amount of rain it drops down. Okay, but if now the rain, it has been decreased to 75% of what it usually rains there, at that time it we call meteorological drought. So it is more of a immediate reason. Okay, so if immediately, if this is the cause that 75% this time the rain wasn't much, we'll say it was a meteorological drought. What is drought, first of all? Okay, so for all of those who don't know, a drought is a condition where there is scarcity of water, when no water exists. That condition is known as what? Drought. Meteorological, now I guess you must have understood. Next comes the hydrological drought. Now what happened, see, if the rain would not pour down much, or we are facing meteorological drought, now what would happen? The plants, even if we are not cultivating, first of all, this is a condition when we are cultivating, but even if we are not, the natural vegetation that is present there, now it would depend on what? If the rain is not there, to the table water, or the water that was present in reservoir, maybe river, or the water table, everything that is already available, now all the natural vegetation would depend on there. And now if they are depending on that kind of water, the quantity of that water would reduce, right? See, for example, if this was the land, okay, and imagine this is a water table. Now this plant, all these plants, they were dependent on rainwater, but this time meteorological drought occurred. Now they would consume which water? They would be dependent on which water? Because this water, it would replenish the water table. It is not like that the plants, they would take water from the surface only, but yes, this water would always replenish hydrological drought. But now what happened, this is low, so what would happen, this plant or all the natural vegetation, now they'll depend on this particular water table that is present, okay, or the streams, or whatever thing that it could be. Now this would start to dry up, not only water table, but the streams, lake, reservoir, whatever that is present, right? Now, so meteorological would lead to what? Hydrological drought. So the condition, now I hope you understand what is hydrological drought, in which nothing but basically the depletion of the surface water, or whatever water was available, because now this time the rain is less, so people or the plants or natural thing, they would consume the leftover water or the reservoirs. Next comes agriculture drought. Now see, all these things are linked somehow. So if there is meteorological drought, that will lead to hydrological drought. This hydrological drought now leads to agriculture drought. Now what would happen? There would be a limit that of consumption of these stored water, right? After a while, it would also not available, it would also not be available, right? So now this will lead to what? Agricultural drought. So what is agricultural drought? Now there is scarcity of water for the plants to grow. See, until hydrological drought, there was no harm for the plants or the crops. Why? Because water was still available. But now a point has reached where now the water is not available for the plants. So this condition is known as what? Agriculture drought. I hope this concept is clear. Everything is interlinked. And imagine if you're getting this question that okay, what happens if rain this next year would sufficient? Then this all thing would like go away, because now everything is normal again. Okay, so do not get confused. So this led to agriculture drought, that now the reserved water, it is also depleting, and there's nothing, there's not much left for the agriculture. And this finally would lead to what? Socio economic drought. What is happens? Because if there is abnormal shortage of water, it would not only affect the plants or the crops, but also the people living in that area, right? Because there was scarcity for people also, no? If there is no water available for plants, then how can we imagine there would be water available for animals and humans? So all these things, they are interconnected, and from one question we have covered this whole concept. I hope this is clear. Now we'll go for some previous year question which says which of the following clouds are important for agriculture purpose. Now it is all about how about your understanding of the question. Okay, so in this particular thing we already have covered this topic, but this question is not direct. You have to look at which type of cloud could be important for agriculture purpose. In agriculture, what is required? Rain. So whatever cloud which brings rain would be of agriculture purpose importance, right? So among the following, which is the correct answer? Okay, so the correct answer of this is option number C, cumulonimbus. Because nimbus is what? Water bearing, and that is why it should be important for agriculture purpose. Okay, so this is question from 2020. Previous was from 2019, and this particular says which type of ecosystem in India has richest alluvial soil with adequate water. Okay, so this is again based on the agroclimatic zones that we have covered in first question. And see, even if you have not covered this topic or you have not studied this topic, let's just go for some, common sense in a way. Okay, so these are, see, we know that Indo-Gangetic plain is quite vast, and most of the agriculture is done in the northern side only. That is because of we have rich alluvial soil there. So from this you can easily do the question, and that is our northern plains. Okay, so that is all for today. I hope you understood this particular chapter well, and we'll meet again with new chapter with new concept, and until then, study hard. Okay, and if you have any confusion, do tell me. Write in comment section or do whatever. I'll try to solve it. And until then, all the very best for your examination, for your preparation. We'll meet again. Thank you.